So in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at solving equations again, but this time we're going to put like terms and parentheses both together. And it's really just going to take what we've been working on the last few days and kind of combining a lot of it together. With the graphic organizer, you should have it in front of you. If you don't have it from in class today, you should be able to pull it down from my website. On the graphic organizer, if you look at it, it's going to have the steps listed down the right-hand side. My video isn't going to have the steps listed, but I'm going to reference them as we begin working. So as we look at this first problem here, as always, our goal is to get that variable by itself on one side of the equation. So we want to get that k by itself. Typically, we like to get the variable by itself on the left-hand side. First step, no matter what your problem looks like, is to rewrite the problem, changing any subtraction to plus the opposite. So it's going to be plus negative 8 and plus negative 11k equaling 2. The next step in the process is going to be to distribute through the parentheses. So that 4 is going to go to the 3k and to the negative 8. So 12k plus negative 32 plus negative 11k equaling 2. The negative and 11k and the 2 were not inside parentheses, so therefore I don't actually need to distribute the 4 to them. At this point, I'm going to combine my like terms. Like terms have to match exactly based on their variable, and they have to be on the same side of the equal sign. So in this case, the only ones that I have that match that criteria are the 12k and the negative 11k. I'm running out of room a little bit, so I'm going to write over here. So I'm going to add the 12k and the 11k together. That gives me 1k plus negative 32 equals 2. That's it for the new pieces. At this point, it's everything we've been working on so far with solving equations. Move the piece without the variable first by adding the opposite. So I'm going to add positive 32 to each side. So 1k equals 34. Divide each side by 1 to undo multiplication, and I get k equaling 34. And that's what I'm thinking is my answer. Now, of course, in order to justify our answer, we do have to go through and check. I'm going to be doing the check way up here on the top, because again, I'm kind of running out of room. When you plug back into the problem, everywhere you see a k, you have to plug in the 34. So 4 times 3 times 34 plus negative 8 plus negative 11 times 34 needs to give me 2. Now, of course, as we work through our check here, I don't know if you can see it yet or not, but we're going to get some pretty large numbers when we go through and multiply. So it's always nice to make sure you have a calculator handy. You can do it longhand, but you're more than welcome to use a calculator as well. So inside the parentheses, we're going to multiply the 3 and the 34, giving me 102, plus negative 8, plus I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this multiplication. So I'm going to do negative 11 times 34. And that's going to give me negative 374 equaling 2. I'm going to add the two pieces in the parenthesis together, so 102 plus a negative 8. And that's going to give me 94. So 4 times 94 plus negative 374 needs to give me 2. 4 times 94 is actually 376. Plus negative 374 needs to equal 2. When I add those two large numbers together, I actually get the positive 2 that I'm looking for. So my answer will, in fact, check. So hopefully you're starting to see, as we add more and more pieces to these solving equations, that it really is the same process over and over and over again. We're just adding one thing in the beginning. So I believe we have one other problem to look at. And it looks like we actually don't have another problem, but you'll notice all the ones on your homework or any practice that you do are actually going to be just like this problem. Again, use the graphic organizer, use the example that we did here, use the steps that are being written down the right-hand side of that graphic organizer with you to kind of help you and allow you to follow along as you go.